Hey guys. Oh, where's my camera? Why is that off? Okay, there we go. Sorry, everyone. I did not realize Linda was not on here. She's super, super sick. So we are gonna pivot and go with it. Thanks for your patience. Okay. Uh, 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 uh. Who's XD? Make sure I get attendance correct.
Senior.
No. Oh, are you in here twice?
Oh, am I in there twice? Oh, I wouldn't let
Maybe.
me in for a while, so I might
Oh,
be.
okay. You probably tried on a different device. Yeah. Nope,
Yep.
that makes sense. I was originally thought it was you, but then I saw your name and I was like, no, it can't be her. So, okay, let me pull up our material for today. So we have qualified potential buyers and sellers. Um, and then I will email out for those that need the content. Shelly, I actually think your book's getting delivered Tuesday to the Market Center. I'm gonna confirm. And I'm gonna print out the material real quick. And then get PowerPoint going. All right. Okay, Bree, I got your email. Shelly, I got your email and text. Okay, perfect. So is there anyone besides Shelly that needs the content for today? Does everyone else have it?
I need it, please.
Ellie, okay, perfect.
I can't get rid of this rabbit. I don't know what's going on, but you can see that I'm talking because the
Yep,
rabbit's moving its mouth.
yep,
So
yep.
this is my live view, but I'm
It
here.
was gone yesterday, but it's
No,
back today.
I have no idea.
That's so funny. Okay, I'll send it to you. You
Thank
did you not ever go in and get your Ignite binder from the office?
you. No, I never did.
Oh, okay.
Nobody
Yeah,
ever did
you can do that
that.
anytime.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you.
Shelly, Ellie, Bree, do you need it too? I'll send it to you just in case. Make sure that's student one. Let me make sure I'm sending the right one. Oh my gosh, come on.
Mara, would the Ignite binder be then at the Sunset Corridor office for me? This is Bree.
Not on screen. Is that Bree asking?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I just need to go in and check in with them to see
Yeah,
where
it should
it's
be.
at. Awesome.
Okay.
And Mara, do you think that there's an Ignite binder at the Medford office? Because I'm happy to run down and grab one.
Yes, there is.
Okay, I'll do that maybe later this week.
Yep. Yeah. Ask Carrie for it when you're there or Sam, and they should
Okay.
have that for you.
Okay.
I think I had told you right when you were onboarding, so but I don't think they've given it to anyone else because you're the last person that onboarded in that location.
Okay.
Okay, this is all right. I'm gonna grab my thing off the printer. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh yeah, did she wake up?
I mean, I
Yep.
can bounce.
No, I'll feed her. She's not gonna last the whole time. So
She's rooting.
she's like, "Give me food, mom."
Awesome. She's smelling very good.
Uh, um, okay. Sorry, guys, got it set up. Did I just send you the PowerPoint? I didn't mean to send the PowerPoint. Silly me. Watch, I'm a mess. Okay, let me fix that. Ah! Actually, what we'll do is we'll just go here. Oops.
You get set up. I'm just gonna walk.
Okay, I'll be set up in like 2 seconds. Where's my Ignite? No? Okay, student manuals. We are qualifying potential buyers and sellers. Now you guys have the actual student material, not the PowerPoint. That'll be helpful for you. Okay. So we're going to start by going to the first slide that you guys have, Find the Motivated. There's some questions on, oops, where's coming in. There is some questions on there about dispelling misunderstandings. So take a few minutes, fill those out, asks you what beliefs do you hold about finding buyers and sellers, what statistics about how buyers find their agents stand out to you, and what statistics about how sellers found their agents stand out. So buyers and then sellers. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see the PowerPoint. Ta-da! Oh, there's your material. PowerPoint. Do. Images from current select. Okay. You went back to sleep? You can, or you can put it in the carrier. I'll put it in my carrier. That way she can the heat thing she can. Ew. Need a lint roller. Some of this you guys probably heard me go over with internet lead conversion too, as far as like going over ready, willing, and able buyers, but we'll cover it as a refresher today too.
Let me know if you need anything. I'm here till 3:30.
Oh, there's your mama.
Oh, she's so cute.
Hey, baby. It's like an awkward. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, here we go. I feel like I skipped this in while looking at your thing. Okay. So our number one job as a real estate agent is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. So this quote is from Shift, which if you haven't read Shift yet, I always recommend reading it after you've read MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. And it goes into a lot of information about lead generation and keeping that pipeline going. But what it wants you to focus on is that when we, especially as we're getting started in our business, a lot of the times we can focus on like all the little things, right? Like getting our website set up, getting our marketing going. But we really do want to stay focused on like our 20% activities And what that means is that 80% of our results come from those 20% things. Those are our income producing activities, is what you'll typically hear us call them. So lead generation, lead follow-up, setting appointments, servicing our clients and our deals would be like our main things. So when it comes to finding the motivated, what were some of the myths that you wrote down about finding buyers and sellers? Like what in your head are maybe the negative things you tell yourself or the things that hold you back?
For me, I feel like because I have a full-time job, I feel like I don't have enough time in my day to
Yeah.
like find buyers and sellers consistently.
Time management for sure. How do you sell that? Like do that time too, right? Any others?
For me, because I'm new at this, I just feel so intimidated because I feel underqualified and I'm trying to take in as much knowledge as I can. And I know it'll come, but
Yeah.
it's just a little scary to talk to people when I feel like I don't know the right answers.
It's very valid. It's a very valid feeling. I always tell people, and I was funny, I had an agent in my office yesterday. We were just having this conversation of like, she's like, I've come to the classes, but now that I'm doing it, like needing that refresher. And I always tell people real estate is like a doing activity. It's a doing learning curve. So we can take in as much information as we want preemptively, but nothing will teach us truly how to do it besides getting out there and like actively doing it. So for you guys, just know too, like that help or that sense of like who you're going to go to ask, right, is right there. So I'm only ever like a phone call, text away for needing those answers that might feel scary when they come up. So that's a great one.
Mara, I was
Yeah.
actually going to ask you something today. I was going to ask you, do you have scripts like from Keller Williams, or maybe you can just
Uh-huh.
guide me where to go in Command? I'd like to have some scripts that I can like go over and review because I did get a Grants Pass Pond here and I've got phone numbers, but I just want to practice on what to say.
Yeah, let me make a note of that. I'll send you the script book. It used to be part of the old Ignite material, and so it was like online where you could download it, and then it was one of those things they removed, but I have it saved. So I can send you the script book for sure.
Will you send it to me too?
Yep,
Thank you.
absolutely. Okay, so these stats are a little bit outdated, but it's funny if you come to the vision speech, which is all on our calendars for March, different days and times for the different locations, I believe. I highly recommend going to that because it's Gary Keller will go over lots of statistics like this that are really from like 2025 and current year versus like these are a few years old, but they're very much, you'll see the percentages don't change a lot at all. So when buyers were questioned about how they found their agent, 47% of all buyers got a referral from or is a friend, neighbor, or relative from the agent they used. First time buyers, that number is actually 57%, and then repeat buyers, 41%. So that's where they got that average from. So that is one of the things like we hear a lot about different lead generation strategies, and we frequently go back to your sphere of influence and building relationships because that's so much where those referrals come from. 13% of those used the agent previously for a transaction. 7% inquired about a property they saw online. 7% found them on a website. 5% for sale, open house, or signage. And then 5% was referral from another agent. And 4% was visited an open house. So when we're looking at our lead gen strategies, that kind of helps us divert what we're focusing on as well. Now for sellers, 39% was from referral. is a friend, neighbor, or relative of the agent they use. That's 47% for first-time sellers, 35% for repeat sellers. And then 29% used an agent previously from a transaction. So again, when we are closing deals and we're talking about like doing the 36 touch and staying in contact with past clients and doing Popeyes and client appreciation events and all that fun stuff, that is why, is that it's not on here, but when agents or humans, people were polled, it's usually like, I think it's like 87 to 90% say that they would use the agent that they use previously again. And then when it comes down to how many actually of those people did, it's down to like 17, 18%. It's below 20%. That they actually did circle back around to that person. These numbers are higher, so I wonder if they've either dropped or if it's just a slightly different question that they're asking. But it's from people like not staying in contact typically, or moving away or going out of the business or retiring or whatnot. But a lot of it's people not staying in contact. We kind of close that deal and then don't follow up. So really important to make sure we have that touch campaign in place for the referrals and the repeat clients. And then 4% was personal contact by an agent, 4% referral from another agent, 3% from website, 2% visit an open house, and 2% for sale open house signage. All right, so then moving on. Okay, so we've done all that. So this is where we kind of, you guys are familiar with this probably if you've gone in and set up your forms even, you've seen like the opportunities. And then obviously Stacy with, when she did the Accelerate launch, went through the compliance. But you can utilize this tool as part of your like pipeline. So when you have a specific buyer that you're working on cultivating, or a seller that maybe you've gone on that listing appointment, you can put them in these cultivate categories and then appointment and move them through. So you can kind of go back and make sure whoever you should be following up is kind of like on your hot list. If you don't like using this system internally in Command, I would encourage you to have something, whether it's a spreadsheet of the people that you should be following up with, whether it's a whiteboard in your office, whether it's a piece of paper, like whatever is going to work for you, find something that does and that you can keep frequently where you're working on a regular basis, because you don't want to lose people, especially as we are hosting open houses. We're going to have different people coming in week after week for those. And you want to have them in one spot where you can say like, okay, I called this person. This is the last day I followed up with them. And this will be my next date that I'm going to follow up with them, because you should have those on like a more long scale follow up. Same with like if you went on a listing appointment and they're not ready for 3 months, you want to keep them somewhere where you're still checking in and following up, not forgetting about them for 3 months and then saying it's listed by someone else. Okay. Classify, ready, able, and willing. So focus becomes increasingly possible in direct proportion to how clear you are about what you want, when you want, and what you must do to get there. Hold on one second. I'm gonna print out your guys' stuff because I like knowing where your questions and feedback is and stuff too. What were some ahas you had from those statistics? Anything mind-boggling?
Well, the amount of agents found from open houses is very, very low.
Yeah.
And I'm shadowing somebody on an open house this Sunday, and she even said to me, she goes, you know that we don't get buyers there, but I was like, it doesn't matter. I got to do something.
Yeah. Well, and I would disagree with that sentiment, and maybe this is where you can watch for what she's doing during those times, because a lot of people do get buyers from open houses, But as a lot of the other agents can attest, it's from the follow-up in the open houses and like how much you follow up with them, not always just what happened that day at that open house. Now where I will say I think sellers believe that an open house is going to sell their house and it's not. Like I said this to a buyer recently because they were worried about a seller having an open house. And I was like, listen, if someone's a serious interested buyer, they might be going to the open house for convenience because they don't need to like make an appointment or like plan with their agent that day. But if they were serious, ready and willing and able buyer, they're going to see that house regardless. So I would say like for a seller, the open house isn't necessarily going to like sell your listing. It's just a convenient way to get some traffic, but it's really for the buyer leads. That's why agents host them. But we have definitely several agents that get a lot of business from open houses. Our owner, Chris Suarez, and again, it's about how much you do it, right? Like if you just do one, you might not get a buyer. Oh, excuse you, Mrs. But our owner, Chris Suarez, so he moved from Eugene. He lived in Eugene and he moved to Portland, and the only people in Portland he knew were his in-laws. And so he just did open houses several days a week, all the time, consistently. And he grew a phenomenally large business from that one lead source because he didn't have a sphere of influence yet. Obviously, over time, he built that, but out of the gate, that was how he built his business with open houses. Okay, I'll be right back. I printed out the student one because I like having that next to me, so I'm gonna go grab that real quick. Okay, so now, oh, I think I need to unblur my background. Let's see. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Blur that. Okay, so you guys should be on this page. We're gonna go over able, willing, and ready. So able, how would someone define able?
That they have their funding source already in their hand, so to say. They got their financing, so they're already able and
Yep, exactly. Perfect. They're either pre-approved or they've got their cash in the
pre-approved. Yep.
bank, right? Like
Yep.
they are
Yep.
able to go buy a house. Perfect. Ready. So how I typically define ready would be, hey, your food's in Kate's office.
Okay, she's leaving?
Yeah, you want her?
Yes. I
Um,
just washed my hands too.
you're all good. Linda was sick, so I'm teaching spontaneously.
Oh.
There we go. Ready would be, they are ready to like go today. If they found a house that met their criteria, there isn't anything that would be like holding them back from making an offer. Sometimes things that stop people from being ready is like they need their house to sell first, or they are waiting for a job transfer or promotion, or they are waiting for someone to graduate high school so they can move. Any of those like kind of life circumstances might prevent someone from being ready. And then willing, I always describe as they are willing to participate in what that market demands for them to be successful. So what that might look like is if we were in a market that frequently had multiple offers and they were someone that was like, I don't want to compete, they're not really willing, right? Or if they're not willing to put in offers that are going to get accepted. So they're looking at houses and they're wanting to submit offers that are $50,000 to $75,000 below asking. It's not really the market we're in. So they aren't willing to participate, or they're not like willing to sell yet or buy yet. So when we have someone that is able, ready, and willing, so they check all three of those boxes, we call those our like A buyers, our A clients. And those are people that if they were like, hey, I want to go look at this house, you would drop quite a bit, arrange your schedule, make it happen, to go show them that house, right? They are like going to buy within the next 30 days typically. If they are two of those things, so maybe they are willing and ready, but their pre-approval process isn't done, right? They're not quite pre-approved, or they don't quite have their down payment saved yet, then they would be B buyers. They will probably buy in the next 60 days. But they're not someone where you're gonna miss a family event or your kid's soccer game, or cancel an appointment to go show them a house because they can't write an offer today. Same if they aren't really willing. So maybe they are pre-approved and nothing's like holding them timeline back, but they're not willing to write offers that would get accepted. Not that you aren't going to work with them or aren't going to be willing to work with them to buy a house, but again, I don't want you missing your daughter's soccer game or moving a doctor's appointment or whatnot to show them that house. You can kind of be a little bit pickier about where you're scheduling it, because at that point it's more of like a relationship building thing than them actually buying that house. But we are staying in really close communication because that switch could change at any point and they could become A buyers. So we're not writing them off. We're not following up. We're not getting frustrated with them. It's just part of their process. And then C buyers are people we're pretty much just going to kind of like stay in contact with, but shouldn't really even be out shopping because they're typically only one of those things. So they might be like pre-approved, but they're, waiting on that job transfer, that offer letter. And so they really cannot go write an offer today, or there's something holding them back from being willing to write an offer or list their house today. So those are just people that should be like on our follow-up pipeline. Any questions about those like kind of classifying clients and following up and those timelines? Fun. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I guess I should have gone to the next slide. So you can capture any of that down on that sheet too that you want. We've got all that. Oh my gosh. Making a mess of my paperwork here. Okay. Now going into qualifying. So when it comes to qualifying, and this is where I've shared some sheets with you guys in the past that are like buyer sheets and seller sheets for I think they were after the internet lead class. And some of this you'll see in like the buyer consultation packets as well when it comes to buyers, is like you're kind of talking to them about what their motivation is, what their timeline is, for both buyers and sellers, right? Like why are they selling or why are they looking to buy? It's nice to kind of have like a standard set of questions that you would typically go through and ask, just so one, you're making sure you're covering your basis, but then that everyone's kind of getting that same experience as well. So those sheets can kind of, you can utilize those as a checklist. And then there's an example in your packet too. So when it goes to qualifying buyers, there is this in your packet where they have like some standardized questions. Um, and good to make sure one that they're not working with another client or agent. Who your buyers are, having like a surprise parent that has more of a say, for instance, than you realize they would is not fun. Who will be living in the home with them, because sometimes you're just interacting or talking to one person, but they do have like either a child or significant other or something like that. How long they've been looking for a home, why they're moving. And then I like to know too, like, okay, so if they're currently renting or owning, that's important, right? Because then where is that? If they own a house, does that need to be sold? Or are they qualified with still keeping that house? Are they going to rent it out? What does that look like? If they are renting, are they month to month or on a lease? Um, and I always tell people too, because sometimes people kind of jump the gun about giving notice with their rental. I strongly encourage people not to actually give a 30-day notice when they're renting until we have like a closing disclosure, which is typically like the week of closing. So for instance, I have a buyer closing next Wednesday, the 11th, and I told them they could give notice today because they just got their closing disclosure yesterday. When they buy a house, they will go typically more than a month without a mortgage payment. So they don't really have to worry about that overlap. But I would much rather them know like this is for sure thing closing than them give notice and something fall apart and now they're homeless, because that's stressful when people do that. Okay, so then yeah, if they signed anything with anyone else, um, how they're purchasing the home, all of that fun stuff. Have they already been pre-approved? Do you need to make that introduction? Um, what price they're comfortable with. And you'll pay attention to how some of this is worded. Like it's much gentler to be like, hey, what price are you comfortable with, or what do you feel like fits into your budget well, versus like how much can you afford? So some of those questions can be handled a little bit tactfully, and just building that trust. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a good question, with 10 meaning you must buy a home as quickly as possible, and 1 meaning you're not sure you will really buy anything, how would you rate yourself? So kind of getting what their motivation level is from them. I always tell people like we can't be more motivated than our clients. So if we are following up with them every day and sending properties every day and like then texting them about the properties and going and showing them the house and then following up, and they're kind of like nonchalant about it, you're way more motivated than them, right? So they've got to kind of lead that motivation. We can have conversations and talk to them about like why might be a good time, or that this house is priced really well and might get other offers, those sort of things. But we ultimately are not going to drag someone along the process. So we kind of got to mirror and match what their motivation level is. And then, yeah, when do you need to be in your home? So kind of understanding like if there's any timelines that are important to them. For instance, I've had clients that are buying a home where their house is being sold by an agent, and so they like need to be in a house in 60 days or 90 days or whatever that timeline looks like, then again, that's going to kind of switch them maybe to that A buyer category. Like they're going to be homeless if I don't find them something. Or if you've listed their house and it's got a buyer, like you are on the road to shopping quickly, versus if there's nothing pressing like that. Any questions about like having these upfront conversations to kind of qualify them and figure out where they are, what their motivation is, anything like that?
Did I miss when you have this conversation?
Very much upfront. So either can be that first conversation, or if you're just setting the appointment for a buyer consultation, then you can do this during that buyer consultation. So either of those, but you want these conversations to happen before you're going out and looking at property.
Okay.
Because then you really understand. Sometimes, especially when we're new and we have like one lead, a lot of this with lead follow-up, we say lead generation's the most important thing you could do, right? You have to have leads to start a business, to do anything. Lead follow-up is where the income is, right? So we get the leads, but then if we don't follow up, nothing ever closes, and we kind of feel like we're spinning our wheels. So lead generation and then lead follow-up in that order of importance. We can't follow up with a lead if we don't have any. Otherwise, I'd almost say it was like switched, and lead follow-up super important. So this is kind of that lead follow-up, setting the appointment, and you want this qualification of them, what their timeline is, where they're at in the process, what their motivation is, to be one of those initial conversations, because otherwise, especially when we're new, we get really excited, like, oh my gosh, I have a lead. Yay, like this is what I've been working towards. But if they're 6 months out, you are going to feel like you are spinning your wheels and burning yourself out trying to get them where they're not going yet. So we really want to kind of understand what their motivation and timeline is up front, so that the time that we're giving to them is proportionate to what that motivation level is and what they need. It does not by any means mean that someone that is going to buy in 6 months is less important or less of a client than someone who's going to buy today. But if someone needs a house today, that's where majority of our time should be spent versus showing properties or going over for 4 different listing appointments to someone who's going to be doing business in 6 months. Does that make sense? I'm gonna role play. Oh, did we miss the seller? Where's the seller one? Is it not on here? Okay. Well, in your packet, there is a seller one as well on like 13.9, the pre-listing questionnaire. So very similar layout, but again, where they're moving, why they're moving, when they need to move by. Oh, I need to plug in my battery. Hold on. So I would make sure. Oh, okay. I would make sure that you have some sort of sheet like this. It can either be this exact one that's out of your packet. It can be the ones that I sent you, that I have from the internet lead class that I've shared. And if you don't have those, I can share those with you. Or you could take any combination of these and make your own in like a Word document and print them out. You could make it sexy in Canva, whatever you want to do. But have some sort of form like this. And then sometimes agents will even print them out in different colors. Like they might make their buyer lead sheet yellow and their seller lead sheet pink or blue or something, so that they stand out and you're not like losing them amongst all the other white paper, because these are potential clients. So again, kind of going back to keeping some form of a pipeline for yourself. Other pre-listing questions, knowing how much they owe on the property, if they have an idea of price that they would want to sell their property for, and then making sure that all the decision makers are going to be at your first appointment. So you don't want to go on a listing appointment with a husband if the wife's not there, or vice versa. Because then they could be talking, and this happens to people sometimes, one spouse is out over here talking to one agent, one spouse is over here talking to another agent. The agents think they're like good to go, and then ultimately the battle of the spouses happens and one of those agents loses out. So really important that you're getting when you're meeting initially with a client, you have everyone there. When I do talk to buyers, like typically that first showing, I want everyone there and I can feel it out. Sometimes there is someone who really is the primary decision maker, and their dynamic of their relationship, they would be okay with one person going and looking at a house while the other person's there. If that's not the case, then then we're not doing that, right? Because if one person's available and not the other, that just means I'm coming back to that house later for another appointment. That is not an efficient use of time. Unless it's like very much an extenuating circumstance, we will just all be there together or not, unless they both have specifically said, oh yeah, I trust him. He would know what I like and don't like, or vice versa. Okay, next. Okay, communicating with your database. So anyone who's a B or C, again, we don't want to forget about them or miss them. So we should have them in a smart plan is what we call these. Touch plan. So the 36 to convert, that's 36 touches over a year, so approximately every 11 days. This is just an example of how that can be broken down. You can kind of change this up to your liking. Some people do a lot more emails, some people do a lot less emails, some people do a lot more than 36 touches over the year. 36 is kind of like the minimum. The one part of this they say is non-negotiable is 4 phone calls throughout a year. But you do want to have some mix up of this. So as you're building relationships with either new people in your sphere of influence, like you're meeting new people, or you're going to open houses and you're following up with them consistently, and to the point where if I called them and I said, "Hey, do you know Shelly?" They'd be like, "Yeah." They know you on a first name basis. That's who's going into your 36 touch. Initially, if you are like farming, door knocking, in your neighborhood or in a specific area, like not just once, but multiple times, to where you're planning on getting business from that pipeline of people, it is 19 touches over a year. So it used to be when you'd hear about farming, people would say like, "Oh yeah, you send a mailer every month." They've realized over the years that that's not enough now to really cement a relationship. So that would be, this is just an example of how that can break down. For those 19 touches, there is different things that you can do. Like you could do more of the in-person events, like maybe you do one block party and one like clothing drive or canned food drive or whatever, and like you could do one a quarter or something. But you can mix this up to however you want. And it gives you some examples. And then one to cement. So if, for instance, if you're adding someone from an open house, you're cementing that relationship to then put them into your 36 touch campaign. So it's a high value touch that solidifies the relationship you have just established and opens the door for future interactions, right? Like you're showing them the value that you can bring to them. Okay, where are we? Oops. Did that. Any questions about this? Making sure I'm not forgetting anything. I already got that. Choo-choo. Okay. All right. Okay. Lead follow-up strategy. You guys have this. You can fill this out. So follow-up strategy, like if you are looking at your oh, that's where the pre-listing questionnaire is. I feel like it's kind of out of order. Okay. We did this. Yep. So follow up would be like your initial follow up. So if say I'm just using open house as an example today, but say you're hosting an open house, you get a potential buyer or seller that comes through as a lead. You're following up with them immediately after the open house, like either that same day or maybe the next day to thank them for coming, offer any follow up. Maybe answers to questions they had while they were there or resources, like if you said you were going to send them lender information, anything like that. And then you should have some sort of follow-up plan for every lead generation strategy you have. So for open houses, you should be contacting them at least once a week for at least 8 weeks with a mixture of phone calls, texts, email, whatever contact information you have for them, inviting them to a different open house you're hosting, sending them follow-up listings, that sort of thing. And then you're ultimately trying to set that appointment to convert them to a potential buyer or potential seller. And then we're moving where it says like stay top of mind. That would be those touch campaigns, right? Depending on which category they fall into. If we're really building a relationship, it'd be that 36 touch. So you're adding them to your 36 touch campaign where they're getting those set routine touches throughout the year, and then moving them into the qualifying as a buyer or seller if they weren't ready at that point. Like maybe you met them at open house, but they, are 3 to 6 months out. Same with like if you were doing internet lead generation, some people like to like buy internet leads or pay for internet leads or run Facebook ads. Oftentimes an internet lead is 6 to 12 months out. So it's going to be important to have them on those touch campaigns and be following up with them. Okay, any questions about that? We have some, yeah, okay, so good questions. You guys have these to fill out in your worksheet as well. So how has some of your thinking changed, or what ideas or mindsets are new that you have about lead follow-up, qualifying potential buyers and sellers? Nothing?
It's not nothing. I think we're just taking a lot in.
I'm brain dumping on you.
No, it's just, I don't know anybody else, but I've been sick, so it's like, oh.
Yeah, totally. You are not the only one, apparently.
Oh, this
A
is
lot of people are
nasty.
sick right now. It's crazy how much is going
It,
around.
yeah, and it's lasting about a month. Usually I get over whatever in 5 days, and this is not going away.
Ugh, yeah, you might need some extra rest.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys think you'll implement using some of those sheets as some of those follow-up questions? Okay, so that's something.
Yes.
How many people have sat down and like planned out their 36 touch yet? So that would be like a good follow-up task because I know that's come up in a few of these classes. So that would be something if we're not implementing to really begin implementing. Even if it's just a part of it so far, like say you start planning out like your bi-weekly emails, that's like one part of that. To just start scheduling and planning for as well.
I think about sending out emails, but then I feel like I have no content.
Do you currently get Alex's emails from Envoy currently, or have you come to his classes?
I've been to one of his classes, and yes, I do believe I get his emails.
So I would start looking at those just like in his example. I haven't I'm trying to like get better about this too, but like yesterday's I read through and I was like, "Oh, that's actually like a pretty good material." And so I went into my database. I put what he wrote, which I know he gets from AI, so I kind of like double AI'd it, but I put it in and was like, "Hey, make this more like friendly and fun, like a little bit like lighter and upbeat." Just to make it a little bit more like me, right? And then read through it and I blasted that out into, I made like a little image for it, which I was like, ChatGPT, give me an image for this email. And it did. And I sent it out. Let me share with you guys.
While you look that up, my thing is how do I find people's emails?
So it's kind of a process. That's going to build over time. So for instance, if it's someone that you know, then you have it there, right? But if it's someone you don't know, like doing the home show, was asking for their email part of like what they were using to sign up on?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. So all of those people should be put into your database that you're gonna be sending them to or from. Where is my thing? Maybe I have to just scroll back.
Yeah, I haven't started entering them into my database yet because I've been busy calling them. I wanted to get to calling them before the week was out. Yeah, I still
Yeah.
got about 50 more to call, but yeah, but most of them did give us their email, so that's a good thing.
Yep, so that is part of that. And then same with like open houses, if people are signing in with their email and phone number, there's that email. If you're getting internet leads, oftentimes their emails are on there as well. Um, so you're just pulling them from wherever you're getting those clients from.
But there is no way of getting them otherwise.
No.
Okay. I
Um,
thought maybe I was missing something.
no. Yeah, you're good. Wait, I just want to see my thing. Where do I click on it? I want to see the email itself. Here we go. Maybe. Okay, yep. So this was the silly little image that Constant Contact made for, or not Constant Contact, ChatGPT made for me based off of the email. This email was my slightly modified version of what Alex sent yesterday. I changed the font and the color and spaced it out. And then I always include like my buyers. And then if I have a listing, which I currently do not, which is crazy, then I'll have like my highlighted listing down here as well. But yeah, I just like plopped in what he said. Now I don't know that I'll necessarily do it every week, but when I see ones that I like, it's at least something. But other things you can do are like seasonal ones, like you could do a spring checklist, or things that fit into what you like. Like I've sent in planting schedule or out planting schedules before, like when you should start what part of your garden, or here's some like cute garden box ideas if you're thinking about building garden boxes, or here's what's going on in the community around this. So like as Easter approaches, I'll probably send one that's like, hey, here's all the local Easter egg hunts for the kids that are like open to the public. So they can be whatever you want, and that's where I would encourage you to sit down in front of a calendar and pencil out when you want them to send when you want to send them, because then you can kind of look at, okay, for that time of year or that date, like am I close to a holiday, am I close to a certain season that I want it to be really specific to that, or is this like kind of just an open area where I would want to go pull some information from like what Alex is sending me, or you can make your own content too. He taught us how to do that, so I can send that recording as well to follow. But where, yeah, it's more like listing focused or buyer focused versus community focused, or whatever we each kind of have our own vibe that we have for our own business. So make sure it matches you and what you like. If you're very into like mountain biking, then you might have one that goes out about like great mountain biking trails around that time of year, or whoever you're connecting with. It could even be each week you could send like all the open houses for that weekend. Like there's no shortage of ideas, but just like actually putting it as a time block into your schedule. And you can schedule them out too. So if you are doing some throughout the year that you wouldn't necessarily need to wait for that to get close, like if you did quarterly home maintenance checklists, you can schedule those out now. And then it's kind of set it and forget it. And that's what I used to be a lot better at doing, is I would in every year I'd sit down, schedule out, and make all of my emails all in one fell swoop. Take me a couple days, but then all of my emails would go out on their schedule. I never had to worry about it. Any questions about that?
So you obviously keep it like not like in because I mean relevance would come in somewhere to play in there, because if you send something that has nothing to do with something in May.
Yeah, if they're scheduled out, then that's why I'm looking at the dates for what I'm scheduling so that I make sure it is relevant.
Hey, Mara. Is there some type of a master suggested email blast list, like, get your home ready for summer, get your home ready for spring, all those different things? Or is that just something for me to do my own research?
It's completely variable, kind of dependent on, now there is like different depending on the platform that you're utilizing. Like if you went into Command and Smart Plans, there's things other people have created that like you kind of rinse off and make branded to you. But I would say I think a lot of people feel a lot better when it's a little bit more guided or geared towards their style and what they want to be sending. So I would honestly spend some time going into either Gemini Pro or ChatGPT, like whichever AI source you're wanting, if you feel like you're needing to brainstorm and be like, hey, give me 24 different topics of emails that I could send out to my sphere. I'm a real estate agent. This is what I like. This is kind of the vibe I'm going for. I want it to be like focused on these things, and it will spit you out plenty of ideas. And then you could you can give it feedback too. So you can be like, I don't really like the ones about this, or I want them to be more seasonally focused, or I want some of them to be more focused on like sellers. And that sort of feedback, and it will give you a lot of that content.
Okay, thank you.
And
Something that I've done,
what?
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, Mara.
Yeah.
If you take Gemini and you have your command open, it'll
Yeah.
read through all those notes that you've put in your command about that specific person, and then it'll make an email for you.
Yes. And if you're doing onesie twosies off of that, that's totally fine. But your 36 touch should be a little bit more generic to where it could go to anyone in your sphere, not necessarily like a specific person. The initial follow-ups should be more specific. And then, yeah, once you're putting them on the 36 touch, you don't want to be creating, 100 different 36 touches. You want like one to be a little bit more generic. But yes, don't shy away from using AI for that sort of stuff.
I think I have fallen in love with Gemini.
It's a good one, especially because we get the Pro for free as like being with our KW email.
I literally broke up with ChatGPT yesterday because I'm using Gemini.
Yep. It's a good one.
Integrates with my Gmail, and that is phenomenal for me.
Yes. Yep.
I
Agreed.
use both of them. Sometimes I'll check with both of them to make sure my content is correct because I'm always leery of putting something out there that's false.
Yeah, and Gemini Pro might be a little bit more up to date because if you're not paying for ChatGPT, I have heard that it's like a little bit delayed. It's not like the most up to date. But if you're pulling like statistics from, what Alex is sending you or whatnot, then he's like done that research to put it up to date too. Okay, great. Well, I am going to be sending out some information, so you guys will get an email from me here shortly, but Alex did have a conflict come up for today's class. His wife's plane got delayed, and so he's on dad duty. So his AI class, the AI playbook one that I sent out marketing for this morning, is actually going to be taking place next Wednesday instead of today. So it'll just be open Q&A with me at 4 today if you guys want to pop in for the office hours. If not, no worries. And then Khadijah, I know I need to look through your buyer packets still, so I will get that looked through and send you some feedback on that too.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, anything else you guys need?
Thank you
All
so much.
right. Thanks for bearing with me today. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
I
Bye,
won't be there
ladies.
anymore because I have to teach gymnastics. So thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Have fun.
Bye.